Hey, this real quick recapping the games between TCU and Michigan, and you know you know uh one of the games is gonna go down as a classic. Both the games last night was uh unexpected events for sure. You know what I'm saying? Michigan was the favor. By a touchdown, and they lost to TCU, and that was surprising. That was surprising. But then when you really dive deep and like really look at certain factors, you can see how it was possible that TCU could could get the win last night. You know what I'm saying? Michigan coming in, everybody already pretty much was penciling in like, yeah, they was gonna house TCU. TCU coming from the Big 12. Big 12 normally don't have a good showing for themselves when they get to the playoff. Uh, the playoffs or whatever. Oklahoma. There's been a couple of times where Oklahoma got smashed. That one time when I want to say the Baker Mayfield team, put up a good fight versus Georgia. That was actually a close game, but typically when the Big 12 get to this this level, they normally get housed by whoever they play. Michigan, their reason they lost was they both had turnovers, three apiece, but a lot of the turnovers that Michigan had led to TCU points, like instantly. They had two pick sixes. They had in the first quarter where there was like they could have cashed in right there. They went for it on fourth down, didn't get nothing. And then it turns out that they lose by a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they just, they felt, had the cockiness like, yeah, we was the better mob until the tape showed that it was they were more evenly matched than people anticipated. What I saw yesterday was TCU is not known for having outstanding defense. They do good as far as situationally, but what they are great at is they got good speed, and that's kind of the whatever you want to say, bugaboo, or the thing that you can get Michigan with. All them years that Ohio State was getting Michigan, it was the speed or whatever. Ohio State is always known for track stars and whatnot. And so this and last year was the only year that Michigan just flat out just roughed them. You feel me? But typically, the speed always kind of tilts a little bit towards Ohio State. As they showed in the game versus Georgia, they was able to go like blow for blow with Georgia's team speed. You know what I'm saying? But in this game, right here with TCU and Michigan, TCU's skilled players, you could see was leaps and bounds faster than the defense that was of Michigan. You know what I'm saying? And you saw with damn, he got a cool last name, Demara Cado. You know what I'm saying? He had 7 carries, 150, and that 69 yarder. You know what I'm saying? Like they just have they both have big play, capability, you know what I'm saying? But the speed, you could just see, Johnson, definitely both of them guys, uh, Amari as well as Johnson, definitely you could see them playing on Sunday because they good in, you just get them in open space, right? You get them in open space and they can, like you saw, who was it? It was Johnson. You see, he had to do the open space. Boom. He hit him with the shakes. He told Cuz, yeah, I'ma holler at you. You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, already hitting his head on the goalpost. So that's the thing. I was thinking they had a chance, right? And the thing that be hurting some of these favors is the fact that they get a month off, right? And the fact that TCU got their ass beat by KSU. So they was like, they had something, like they didn't come in the game all high, you know what I'm saying? Like they came into the game where everybody said, yeah, it's a foregone conclusion. They just gonna get, like Michigan been a dominant team all year. They was just gonna come in there and just get their ass beat. And so, the fact that they had that month to really lock in on one team, it's just like with the NFL when normally an underdog has his best chance to win week one, because you see, okay, they say you play this team in the schedule come out in April or May. And so you just lock in on, okay, this is the one team that we just gotta focus on, you know what I'm saying? And you just say, okay, the coaches, they look at all the pluses that this team did from last year, all the minuses, they look a little bit at the preseason and have a solid game plan to where, typically that's where the most upsets can happen is week one, because a sorry team that might end up having a sorry season, they had that whole time to just focus in on one team. And so the same situation with the playoff, you got a whole month to just lock in on one team. And so, even that could be where you just show like, yeah, we just was that squad where we just better than everybody. Like the LSU team a couple of years back, or it's, what I'm saying, or it's a situation where the underdog say like, okay, since everybody's saying, all the college analysts saying like, yeah, we ain't got no shot, we gonna actually play up to where we might not typically play like this, but we was able to summon that up for this one game. And so, they kept their season going. You look at the stats, and like I said, Amari, he had 17 carries, 150 yards for a touchdown. The guy on the screen who possibly could have played himself into I say first round possibility prospect, you know what I'm saying? He a 4 year guy, so he's a guy that's probably, ready to, just plug him in and just let him go, you know what I'm saying? Whether he fail or succeed, depending on the right system he go to, that'll be all the factors. But he showed a lot of grit yesterday. He was 14 and 29, 225, two touchdowns, two interceptions. And rushing the ball, he had 15 for 57 yards and two touchdowns. As a team, they had 263 yards. So they matched the Michigan physical. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody thought Michigan was going to be more physical, but they came out there with 263 yards on the ground. So they was as physical as Michigan, and so I can expect Michigan didn't expect that. Quinn Johnson, Beast, he had that 76 yarder that kind of like gave them separation in the second half. He had 6 for 163 and a touch. Aside from him, the other receivers ain't really do too much. They had 4 sacks, and let me see how many. They don't even put the QB hits on this one, but yeah. So the fact that they was getting at McCarthy, and he was making untimely mistakes, stuff that he wasn't doing for most of the year, and that was like surprising to see. Like that opening quarter where he had that fumble. It's it was just a lot of stuff. I don't know whether it was nerves or what, but he played a good game. You aside from the interception and the fumbles, you give him the stats wise, he was 20 or 34, 343, two touchdowns, two interceptions. I say he played a good game because the 343 was within realm of the game. You feel me? Like it wasn't because he was playing, when you getting housed and then you getting them stats, padding the stats, but you really ain't had no ain't had no chance of winning the game. Like his stats was within the flow of the game. Like Michigan had still a shot at winning the game, and then they did that turnover in the on the last drive. You know what I'm saying? But his 343 was like was some legit yards. That's what I'm trying to say. Donnie Edwards, he had a 54 yarder. He had 23 for 119. McCarthy, he had 10 of 15, 52 and a touchdown. Roman Wilson, he had 1 for 18. That flipped into the end zone. I think that was him, right? Had that cool ass touchdown. Um, Defense wise, they they only had 1 sack. So just think about that. In your head, you thought that Michigan was a better defense than TCU, but TCU ended up having more sacks. So when you just wrap a bow around this whole game, it was TCU that was doing more Michigan like stuff than Michigan. You know what I'm saying? They outran Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Had almost 300 yards on the ground, and then they were, they were more aggressive on the defense than Michigan, and that was all stuff that none of us saw. So you give props to TCU. They made it to their first championship game since 1938. So it's gonna be crazy. All they fans, they gonna come down there with that purple, white, and black. They gonna represent that hard. Looking like Baltimore or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The Ravens. But it's gonna be good to see. Uh, I don't think Georgia gonna think they sweet. You know what I'm saying? Georgia gonna consider them like a real threat, especially how Ohio State pushed them. I think TCU is gonna be able to exploit some of certain things on offense to make it where it should be a good game. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. All right, thanks for listening.